Hi you guys, it's Pebbles and I'm back with another YouTube video, and today I'll be telling you guys how I moved out at 18 and my little tricks, well not really tricks, but my tips and different ways how you can find an actual apartment that might be easier to get into and easier to apply for and easier to get at a young age. And yeah, so if you're new here, hey, you might as well hit that subscribe button right now because you're gonna love it here. You're gonna love these tips I'm about to give you. And yeah, all right y'all, so let's get into it.
Oh, baby, and I'm back and I'm back.
So first I'm gonna start with the things that you need in order to get an apartment and move into it and get approved for the actual apartment. And yeah, so the person that's renting it out might ask you to pay for security deposit, last month rent, and first month rent. So if your rent is $800, well, if the rent for the place is $800, that's 800 times 3, which is $2,400. So you gotta cover up $2,400 before you can even move into the place, okay? So I don't know about y'all, but I like when people talk to me realistic. And at 18, most of us don't have $2,400 to be given to people, okay? Okay. So you probably mad right now because your mom did something to you, or your dad did something to you, or your guardian or somebody did something to you or something. But trust me, this ain't what you want, okay? Paying bills and adulting is not what you want. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop. But no, for real, I wish somebody talked to me and told me that, because now it's like, okay, yeah, I'm on my own. I wanted to be on my own. Yeah, like I was having problems with my mom, and I was like so eager to move out at 18. But once I moved out, it was this, that. Bills after bills after bills after bills was snacking me, right? And it was just like, dang, well, okay, I'm just do it because I made the decision to move out. I was trying to be fast and moved out. So yeah, all right, that's just a disclaimer. So let's get back into it. First thing they're gonna ask you for, well, when you're looking at the apartment, they're gonna ask you in the description, you gotta pay first month, last month security deposit. And that depends on the apartment, but for the most part, that's what they're asking for. So if you're lucky and you find one that only asks for first month and security deposit or something like that, then good for you, kudos to you. But I had to pay first month, last month, and security deposit, and my rent was $1,100. Now I'm talking about in Miami, Florida, by the way. So I'm gonna put in the title Miami, Florida. How I moved out at 18 in Miami, Florida. Okay, Miami, Florida is expensive. Okay, I stay like in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I don't stay in Broward. I don't stay down south. I stay in Miami, so the rent is very expensive. So my rent was $1,100 every month. Okay. Now on top of paying the first month, last month security deposit, you have to give them proof of income, and they'll ask you for they'll ask you to make sure like you're making at least 2 times the rent or 3 times the rent. It depends on the person once again. So if your rent is $800, you need to make at least $1,600, which is 2 times the rent, in order for the person to think that you could, to believe or think or know for a fact that you can handle $800 rent. Because not only do you need to pay rent, you might have to pay light bill, water bill, gas bill, or whatever. In Miami, it's just water bill, light bill, and cable. And then you might have a car note, you might have car insurance. That's Miami. But I know in other states they pay like gas and all this other stuff. So yeah. So they want to make sure that after you pay your rent, you still have money left over to pay for all the other stuff, and you're not struggling, and you're not going to be evicted, and they have to go to court and pay all these court fees or whatever to get an eviction notice and try to put you out and all the other stuff, okay? Okay. So they need proof of income. On top of that, they might ask for references. So if you got a manager, a teacher or something that could back you up, yeah, this person is a great person or something, I don't know, references. I think I did have to put references, and I put my job manager, one of my favorite teachers from high school, and I was in a program in college. I put like my college program manager. And the lady actually, well, I know she called my manager for a fact. She called my manager because my manager told me. He was like, oh, you're trying to move? I'm like, yeah. So you need proof of income, references, and you have to cough up that money for the deposit the first month rent, last month rent. And that's iffy, because some people might ask for first month rent and deposit, or some people might ask for all three. So that's what you need in order to move. And then again, you want to save more than what you need to pay the person. You want to save at least 3 times the rent yourself. You want to have that in your savings, just in case anything happens, just in case you get fired, God forbid, just in case, I don't know, you lose your job, your company go bankrupt or something. You want to have at least 3 months of rent saved up. So on top of security deposit, last month rent, first month rent, you want to have at least 3 times the rent saved up in your savings, okay? And that's just saved to the side, and that's for rent, okay? On top of that, you want to have money to buy food. You want to have money to be able to buy furniture. You need a bed. You might need a couch. I don't know. You need utensils. You need food in the refrigerator. You need a shower. You need a shower curtain. You need soap. You need rags. You need towels. You need all that good stuff. Okay. So you want to have money for this month rent, last month rent, and security deposit saved up, and then you want to have at least three times the rent saved up for your emergency, just in case something happened with you. And then you want to also have money saved up for the furniture that you'll get inside the house. And again, it's not really a rush to get the furniture, but you want to at least have money to have a bed, food, and you know, the essentials. So you need a shower curtain, or the water gonna be running out the shower. So you need a shower curtain, a mop, cleaning supplies, stuff like that. So you need to save. So me, I made sure I saved $10,000 before I moved out. About $3,000 of that money went to the security deposit, first month rent, last month rent. So that went to the landlord, and I only paid like $1,000 on furniture because I was going the cheap way. Of course, I went to Dollar Tree and bought a whole bunch of stuff, like the stuff that I needed: cleaning supplies, soap, shower curtain, everything, spoons, forks, cups, glasses, wine glasses. I got everything from the dollar store. I spent like $100, $200 in the dollar store buying that stuff. So I actually saved money doing that. And I got like my furniture, like my couch and stuff, from Walmart.com. So each couch was $200, so my couches were $400. My mom actually got me a TV for like $200 from Walmart as a gift. That was pretty much. And then my bed, of course, I got the mattress from like Amazon for like $200, and I got the actual frame, the upholstered frame, from Walmart for like $200. So I didn't spend no more than $1,000 on furniture, and then the rest of it I had just saved up for just in case, you know, anything could happen. I could get fired, God forbid, anything could happen. So I had the rest of the money saved up in my savings. I didn't have a car, so I didn't have to worry about gas or anything like that. Only thing I had to worry about was Uber. I was really like, I really planned everything out before I actually left. I made sure my job wasn't too far. It was 15 minutes away from my job. Therefore, my Ubers were only like $5. So I knew like every day I would spend like $10, $15 on Ubers. And I knew that I was going to buy groceries for only one person. So my groceries were less than $100 a month. And yeah, like I really just sat there and planned literally everything out. And I made sure when I found the apartment that it was an apartment that had pretty much everything included, because since I didn't have a car and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on bills, so everything was pretty much included until my rent. So even though my rent was $1,100, I had washer and dryer, the lights was included, the water was included. So my only bills that I had was literally rent, which was $1,100, and Wi-Fi, which was $60 from Xfinity. So my bills were really low and compared to anybody else that would move into like a regular apartment. But you want to write down what all your bills will look like, how much income you'll be getting, how much money you have left. You don't want to live by yourself and then be stressed out because you have to use all your money on the bills. Like, you rather be stressed out with whatever you have going on at your parents' house or whoever's house than be stressed out on your own and can't provide for yourself because you're using all your money on rent. So you want to just take a step back, relax, pray, count to 100, do something, because when you move out, I'm telling you, like, you move out, like, everything is literally on you. You come home, you don't have your mom, your grandma cooking for you. You have to literally cook for yourself. Y'all, I'm sorry y'all hear my son. If you're new here, I do have a son. His name is Malachi, and he is loud right now. I guess he's playing with my sister, and I don't know, but please don't mind him, okay? Down to the tips or tricks that I was talking about. So you can use these apps, Hotpads, Zillow, Realtors.com, or even Facebook Marketplace. Now on these apps, you can actually find like independent people that like aren't really realtors, or like big buildings, like, you know, like buildings that rent out to a bunch of people and they have like a renter's office. It might be somebody's house they're renting out, or somebody's condo they're renting out. So these are like regular people, regular everyday people like us that's renting out houses. Like somebody like your parent could be renting out a house, so your neighbor might be renting out their house, and they're on the app renting out their house. So the requirements would be more lenient compared to an actual building that has, like, you know, the management and stuff like that. I don't really know how to say it, but it would be way better. That this is how I did it. I think I found her on Hotpads, and she had a picture of, you know, her house or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this looks like a regular house. It was a regular house because it was a duplex. It wasn't like a tall building, and you know, like the pictures weren't professional, so that's how I knew like it was just like a regular person renting it out. And on the Hotpads app, I just reached out to the person. I'm like, hey, I'm interested in viewing. And she actually called me like that same day, that night, and she's like, hey, like my husband's fixing up the house, you can come see it tomorrow, da da da. And I got in an Uber and I went to see it, and it was actually like a little it was a duplex, but she turned it to a quadplex. So I was like, you know, in there, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I loved it. It had the granite tops, stainless steel refrigerator, microwave, yeah, the washing machine was really nice. So I was like, okay, I would like to do an application. So while I was there, she started talking to me like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 18. And she's like, oh, my daughter was 18 when she moved out too. Are you in college? You know, she started asking me questions, and I was being really, like, you know, transparent with her. I was telling her like, yeah, I'm in college for business. I work at this place, and I do this, I do that. I also do YouTube. I also sell this. I also do that. And she's like, oh my gosh, you remind me so much of my daughter, and all this other stuff. And while I was there, other people actually came to look at the place, and they actually put in applications. And I was just hoping, you know, like my application got chosen over theirs. I was actually having a conversation with her, and nobody else was really having a conversation with her. And she called me back like that next day, and she's like, hey Janiyah, like you were approved or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like thank you. She was like, yeah, you remind me so much of my daughter. I want you to just stay in school, and like, you know, don't drop out, stay focused. And she's like, are you sure that you want to move out of your mom's house? Like, she made sure I wanted to move out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really sure. And she was like, okay, like, are you really sure about this? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, okay, like, you can meet me to, like, you know, do final paperwork or whatever. And basically she had like her own little contract, like her, not a contract, but her own little lease agreement, because my lease was 12 months. So basically I just signed at the bottom. It was saying that I paid such and such amount for my security deposit, and I agreed to stay here for 12 months and pay the rent on time, da 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 da. And that was it. And since she was like a regular person like us, she allowed like 5 days after the, so you know how you pay your rent on the 1st, she allowed up to that Friday, which was the 5th, because you know people don't get paid until Friday. So if the 1st was on Monday, it's like you're out of gas. At any other places, like they need their money on the Monday. They don't care if you get paid that Friday. You should save your money from the last check. You know what I'm saying? So she was actually lenient on that part. So if it was a Monday that was the 1st, she waited until that Friday for us to pay her. So she was really nice, even though like I was really on point with all my stuff. So if I knew that, you know, like the Monday or the Tuesday was the 1st, I saved the money from the last check, so I wouldn't have to have like, you know, any problems with her. So I was really big on that. But just in case like I couldn't save the money from the last check, she also waited for that next time that we got paid to to do it or whatever. And then she just reached out to us, hey, I didn't receive a payment from you or whatever. And then you just send it. She's like, okay, thank you. And then yeah, as a girl, it was kind of scary, just a little bit. My mom gave me 2 tasers. So I had a taser in the front and a taser in the front by the door in the living room, and I had a taser in my room. I made sure I had a screen door, so I locked the screen door, locked my door, locked the outside gate. At the duplex, my neighbors actually had cameras, so they saw literally everything. Before I actually got when I went to view it, I didn't walk around, but I stayed outside because, you know, I had to catch an Uber. So I was outside. I'm just looking at the neighborhood. I didn't really see anybody outside. The houses looked kind of nice. It was like nice cars outside. So I thought, like, you know, maybe for the most part, the only issue that we will have is like somebody trying to break into a car or something, because the area was nice and it was like quiet. Next door to the duplex is like an old lady and her husband. So I was like, okay, like I won't have any problems with, like, you know, like loud neighbors or something like that. So like, you want to scope out the area if you do have a car, you know, drive around at night and like look at the area. I googled the address to see like the crime rates. The crime rates was low. For like, while you're there, you could like try, if neighbors are outside, you could talk to the neighbors, ask them different questions. Do they have any issues with, you know, living here? Do they have issues with this neighborhood? Is the neighborhood quiet? Don't be afraid to ask questions, because they have to. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because like, just don't be afraid. I mean, if it's a neighbor, there's no reason to lie to you, and if it's the landlord, they shouldn't lie to you, because that's, I don't know if it's against the law, but like, that's like, why would you let me move in somewhere when I just asked you, is it like loud and do people shoot, and you tell me no, and then I move in and they're shooting the first night? Like, why would you lie about that? You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to ask those questions, because they should be honest about that. And if it's something that you don't like that does happen there, then you would know like not to move there, because that's just not your speed. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to ask questions. Google like a lot, because, you know, every city is different, every state is different. So Google questions to ask a landlord before you move in your city. You know what I'm saying? So I think I did that. I had like a notebook with a whole bunch of questions to ask the landlord before I moved to Miami, before I moved to North Miami, before I moved to Coral Gables, before I moved to Pembroke Pines. You know what I'm saying? Questions I would ask the landlord, and then you will see the different questions. Maybe a question is on there that you didn't think about to ask them. You know what I'm saying? So like, since you just moved like by yourself or whatever, since you're just not moving by yourself, maybe a question like, how much is the average light bill, so you know like what to include into your financial plans. You know what I'm saying? So just because the light bill is $100 at your mom's house doesn't mean the light bill would be $100 at that house. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So yeah, so I think that concludes this video. If you guys have more questions, just comment down below. I'd be happy to respond, or you could just hit me in a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is Pebbles Melanin. I'm gonna put it right here. And if you guys like this video, y'all want to see more, subscribe, like, comment.